Y'all want to know why he gave me money? This is why he gave me money. Tell him why you want to, because you want to be so messy, right? Tell him why.
I'm saying
it's fine. How am I popping it? I've never said. What have I said? What did I say?
No, you don't need nothing. You don't ask for nothing.
I didn't ask you for nothing. I didn't ask you for anything. I still haven't asked you.
So why I give it to you?
Why'd you give it to me? Why'd you give it to me? Because you're a weird ass nigga. You're a loose ass nigga. No, you're a loose ass nigga. He handed me his phone. I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. He handed me his phone. He handed me his phone, and he over here sending thousands of dollars. And I said, oh, if you're sending thousands of dollars, you might want to send that my way because I'm your baby mama. So you might want to actually, with babies that are actually here, you might want to send that my way because I'm real cool. I don't need you for shit. He's been here months and months and months. I have paid my own rent, my own everything. He has not given me shit. He comes over to my house, eats my pork chops. Okay? So I have not asked him. But don't be handing me your phone trying to find an email for me. Like, you set me up. You wanted me to see that. You wanted me to see your little cash app. So send me that too.
So can I
send me that too. Send me that too. No, we're not getting into the nitty gritty. That's what it is. Send me that too. Send me that too. And then he did.
So she was trying to open up a LLC for Blueface LLC. She keeps telling me, oh, check your email. Did they send you an email?
Check your email, because I'm trying to make it fair. It was supposed to be a fair LLC.
Is it my turn to talk? So I keep checking my email. Days go by, she keeps pressing me. Check. It's not there. Here, you check. I give her the phone with my email open. Not my phone open, so she's flipping through my emails. She see me cash apping. Oh, girl. You know.
So I need that.
She see me.
I need that.
She seen a couple cash apps going.
I need that.
Couple Apple
I need that.
And she started crying. Come on, no, why are you sitting here so much money? You don't even help me.
I need that. I need that.
So she started crying. I'm like, stop. Here's $2,000. Take it. So yeah.
So did you feel better saying that right now? You feel like you were less of a.
No, you're just making it seem like you wouldn't want to.
You still are. You still are a dick.
On the other end of those cash apps, you were acting like.
Acting like what? I am mad. You want to know why I'm mad? You want to know why I'm mad? Because for 2 years, I didn't ask you for nothing. So you don't even know what happened. You don't even know what transpired. So yeah, you don't just get to pop out and you don't get to just start cash apping prostitutes outside the road from a trailer park because they claim that. You don't get to just do that. You're gonna have to run that. You're gonna have to run that.
2 years,
you're gonna have to run that. Period. Run that. That's it. That's all.
So for 2 years,
you have to run that.
Y'all want me to clock her, chat?
You have to run that.
I went to jail, chat. I gave her $40,000 and I paid her rent.
We don't care about this house. We don't care. We don't care.
Yeah, don't act like I wasn't making it happen for you.
I never said that you did it.
So what you keep saying for 2 years? I did it on my own. You didn't.
Were you here? Yes or no?
Physically, no.
Okay then. So you have no idea.
Financially, I was.
Just like how I have no.
Financially, I was.
How I have no idea.
Financially, I was correct.
Did you make daddy's happy? Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
For how?
So who said that you didn't though? Who said that you didn't though?
You said.
I never said.
I did it on my own. I did my own bills.
As long as my kids are happy, I'm happy. I feel like I'm doing good in life. My bills are paid. I don't have to call anybody, for donut money. I just think that just because I can do everything by myself doesn't mean I should have to. You get what I'm saying? And I just feel like whatever you want to put into this household or that household or wherever you have kids at or whatever you want to call it, it should be fair. Period. That's it. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
So do you really think that's Charles Barkley, baby?
I don't want to talk about that baby, man.
You said it.
I know, but I don't want to talk about other people's kids. We can talk about my kids.
Yeah, what you mean other people's kids? That's your baby. So it ain't your baby.
But then he said, all right, I'm gonna just move on with a new family and don't try to come stop me either. Had a chance to get your family back.
Oh man.
And you played.
All of a sudden, 2 years, it just ain't your baby out the blue.
Not the first time I said that.
But then you went on to take family pictures and you was around, they was always around. You uploaded the baby yourself, everything. After you said that. So what changed now?
What you mean what changed now? Nigga, the DNA.
Where the test at? I'm at your house, nigga.
Let me show you the test after this. Tell me what that say.
I can't, nigga.
It says,
you want me to read it out loud?
Blueface is not the father. There you go. That's it back, fool. Make sure you put it back in the, feel me? Safest place.
You a
Put that in the safest place. Seal it up. Top of the refrigerator, nigga.
So who baby is it?
I already said it, bro. Check Twitter, nigga.
Wait, did Blueface just deny that baby again? Because according to conversations circulating online, and what some sources are allegedly pointing out, things just took a turn that nobody saw coming. We're talking about a situation that already had the internet split, emotions high, timelines messy, and receipts, well, let's just say people claim they've seen things.
But now it's getting even more complicated.
Because while Chrisean Rock appears to be breaking down publicly, others connected to this situation seem to be moving very differently. Some viewers are even saying one side looks like they are getting played, while another side looks like they are getting taken care of. And the question everyone keeps asking is simple, but dangerous. How does the same situation lead to three completely different outcomes? Now, I'm not here to make any final claims, but if even half of what's being discussed online turns out to be true, this might be one of the most chaotic relationship storylines we've seen in a long time. Because behind the headlines, behind the viral clips, and behind all the alleged back and forth, there's a bigger story here. And trust me, once we start connecting these dots,
it only gets messier from here.
Now here's where things start to get complicated. Because when you look at this situation from the outside, it might seem like just another celebrity relationship playing out online. But according to ongoing discussions across social media, and what some sources are allegedly suggesting, this isn't just drama. This is a full-blown storyline with multiple layers. At the center of it all, you've got Blueface, a name that's been tied to controversy more times than most people can count. From past relationship issues to viral moments that had the internet debating for days, his public image has always been, let's just say, unpredictable. And then there's Chrisean Rock, someone who, depending on who you ask, is either deeply loyal, caught in a complicated situation, or simply navigating things in her own way. Now, when you bring those two names together, history tells us one thing: things rarely stay calm.
And this situation? It might be one of their most talked about chapters yet.
Because according to what's been circulating online, the topic of the child, something that should be straightforward, has once again become a major point of discussion. Some clips, some posts, and a lot of reactions are fueling conversations where people are asking, why does this question keep coming back? Now, to be clear, nothing here is being confirmed as fact. But when multiple conversations across platforms start pointing in the same direction, people begin to connect dots, whether those dots actually belong together or not. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Because while this conversation is heating up, there's another layer unfolding at the same time. And that involves how different individuals connected to this situation are being treated.
Some viewers are pointing out what they believe is a pattern.
They are saying, allegedly, that while one person appears to be emotionally invested, possibly going through a difficult moment in the public eye, others seem to be in a completely different position. And that's where names like Jaidyn and Nevaeh start coming into the conversation. Now again, we're speaking strictly based on what's being discussed online, but the perception being created is what's really driving the narrative.
Because people are starting to ask,
why does it look like one person is struggling, while another seems completely unbothered? Why does it feel like one side is constantly defending, while another side is quietly benefiting? And more importantly, is there something deeper going on behind the scenes that the public isn't fully seeing yet? Now, if you've been following this story for a while, you already know, this isn't the first time things have looked uneven. There have been past moments, viral clips, interviews, live streams, where fans claimed they noticed similar patterns. Situations where emotions were high on one side, and on the other side, things seemed a lot more controlled, even calculated.
Some people even go as far as saying that this dynamic isn't random.
They are suggesting, again, allegedly, that there might be a system to how things play out.
A cycle.
And if that's true, then what we're seeing right now might just be another phase of that same cycle repeating itself.
Because think about it.
If someone continues to stay in a situation that consistently brings them public stress, while others involved appear to move forward without that same pressure, at what point does it stop being coincidence? Now, I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but the internet is definitely asking those questions. And not quietly, either. Because as more clips surface and more commentary videos start breaking things down, people are beginning to form opinions, strong ones. Some are siding with Chrisean, saying she's being put in a difficult position and deserves clarity. Others are looking at Blueface's actions and saying there might be more to his perspective than what's immediately visible. And then there's a whole group of viewers who are focused on the financial angle. Yes, the money. Because according to certain discussions and alleged observations, people believe there's a noticeable difference in how support is being distributed. Again, nothing confirmed.
But the perception alone is enough to spark debate.
Some are saying one person appears to receive consistent support, while another seems to be asking for it. And when money enters the conversation, everything changes. Because now it's not just about emotions anymore. It becomes about value, priority, and position. And that's where things get even more intense. Because if the public starts believing that one person is being prioritized over another, whether that's true or not, it creates a narrative that spreads fast. Faster than facts. Faster than clarification. And once that narrative takes hold, it's very hard to control. Now here's the part that really has people talking. The timing. Because all of this, the discussions, the reactions, the alleged statements, it's all happening at once. Almost like everything collided at the same moment. And whenever that happens in a situation like this, it usually means one thing. Something bigger might be unfolding behind the scenes. Something that hasn't fully come out yet. Something that could change how people see this entire situation. Now again, we're not jumping to conclusions. But if history has shown us anything about situations like this, it's that what we see publicly is often just a small part of the full picture. And sometimes, the real story doesn't start until things begin to fall apart. And right now, it feels like things might be heading in that direction. Because if the questions keep building, if the reactions keep growing, and if the narrative keeps shifting, then whatever comes next might be even bigger than what we're seeing right now. And this is exactly where the situation starts to feel less like random drama and more like something people online are trying to decode in real time. Because once the initial shock wears off, the internet does what it always does. It investigates. Not officially, not professionally, but collectively. And according to multiple discussions, breakdown threads, and commentary videos, people are starting to piece together what they believe is a pattern. Now again, this is all based on what's being said online. Nothing here is being presented as confirmed fact. But the consistency of these observations, that's what's catching attention. Because one of the biggest talking points right now revolves around what some viewers are calling a shift in energy. They are saying, allegedly, that if you go back and compare earlier moments between Blueface and Chrisean, the dynamic looked very different. More aligned. More supportive. At least, that's how it appeared publicly. But now, people are claiming the tone has changed. And not subtly either. Now it feels more distant. More controlled. Almost like one side has stepped back, while the other is still fully emotionally invested. And that imbalance? That's what's driving a lot of the reactions. Because when audiences sense emotional imbalance in a public situation, they naturally start choosing sides. Not based on facts, but based on perception. And perception, especially online, can become reality very quickly. Now here's where things take another turn. Because alongside all of this emotional speculation, there's also talk, again, allegedly, about financial behavior. Yes, we're back to the money conversation. According to what some online users are pointing out, there have been moments where transactions, gifts, or financial gestures were noticed and discussed publicly. Now, whether those interpretations are accurate or not, that's not the point. The point is, people believe they are seeing a difference. And once that belief spreads, it becomes part of the narrative. Some are saying it looks like certain individuals are receiving consistent financial attention, while others appear to be questioning their position. And that perception alone has created a whole new wave of commentary. Because now people aren't just asking emotional questions anymore. They are asking strategic ones. Like, is this intentional? Is there a reason behind who gets what, and when? Is this about relationships, or is it about control? Now again, we're not confirming any of this. But the fact that these questions are being asked at this level, that tells you how deep the audience is already invested. And then, we get to the reactions. Because if you thought the situation itself was intense, the public response might be even more chaotic. Social media right now is split into multiple camps. One side is fully defending Chrisean, saying she deserves clarity, consistency, and respect. Another side is stepping back and saying, maybe there's more happening behind the scenes that hasn't been explained yet. And then there's a third group. The observers. The ones who aren't picking sides. They are watching everything unfold like it's a live series. And to them, this isn't just drama. It's content. It's a storyline. And every new clip, every new reaction, every new alleged detail, it adds another episode. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Because some content creators, again, based on what's circulating, have started referencing possible leaks. Now we have to be very careful here. Nothing has been verified. But according to certain discussions, there are claims that messages, financial interactions, or behind-the-scenes conversations might exist that could change how people interpret everything. Again,
Alleged. Unconfirmed. But powerful enough to keep people watching.
Because the idea of hidden information always pulls attention, especially in situations where emotions, money, and public image are all involved.
And that brings us to another key detail people keep mentioning. Control of the narrative.
Because if you look closely at how this situation is playing out, different people are telling different versions of the same story.
Some through interviews, some through posts, some through reactions. And when multiple narratives exist at the same time, the truth becomes harder to define.
Which, ironically, makes the situation even more engaging.
Because now the audience isn't just watching. They are participating. They are analyzing.
They are debating. They are building their own conclusions. And in situations like this, the loudest narrative often becomes the dominant one.
Not necessarily the most accurate one. Just the one that spreads the fastest. Now here's the part that really has people locked in.
The possibility that this situation isn't over.
In fact, some are saying this might just be the beginning.
Because if what's being hinted at online has any truth to it,
then there could be more revelations coming. More reactions. More unexpected turns. And possibly, more fallout.
Because situations built on public emotion, financial perception, and unanswered questions,
they don't just disappear. They escalate. And right now,
everything about this situation feels like it's building towards something bigger.
Something that hasn't fully revealed itself yet.
And if that's the case, then what comes next might completely change how people see everyone involved. And if everything we've just talked about is only the surface, then what comes next might be the part that changes everything. Because situations like this don't just stay in the conversation phase forever. Eventually, they reach a breaking point. And according to what many observers are now suggesting online, it feels like that moment might be getting closer.
Not because of one single event, but because of the build-up, the tension, the unanswered questions,
and most importantly, the public pressure. Because whether anyone involved wants to admit it or not, once a situation reaches this level of visibility, it stops being private.
It becomes a public case study. Every move gets analyzed.
Every word gets replayed.
Every reaction gets judged. And that kind of pressure, it forces outcomes.
Now, some people are already speculating about what those outcomes could look like. Again, nothing confirmed.
But the conversations are getting louder. Some are saying there could be a point where things escalate into legal territory.
Not necessarily because of any single accusation,